What do you do when the threat is not loud? Not a screaming boss, not a public accusation, not an obvious enemy, but a quiet shift in tone, a meeting you were not invited to, an email you were accidentally left out of, a rumor that sounds small but somehow changes how people look at you. Office sabotage rarely explodes. It erodes. And the real question is not how to fight it. The real question is this: how do you stay grounded when they want you to fail? In modern corporate culture, performance reviews, promotion tracks, and visibility can determine your income, your status, and even your sense of identity. Work is not just work anymore. For many professionals in America and around the world, work is where worth is measured. So when someone subtly undermines you, it does not feel like a small inconvenience. It feels like an attack on your future. You might experience a colleague taking credit for your idea, a manager withholding key information, a teammate framing you as unreliable, a social exclusion that slowly isolates you. You feel it in your chest before you can explain it logically. And if you are not careful, sabotage outside becomes chaos inside. Today we are not talking about revenge. We are talking about stability. Because the person who stays grounded has an advantage that most people underestimate. Imagine this. You are sitting in a glass meeting room. You can see everyone outside. You notice a few coworkers talking. You catch your name. They look at you, then look away. You do not know what was said. Your brain fills in the rest. Psychologists call this tendency negative interpretation bias. When we lack information, we often assume the worst. This bias is not a character flaw. It is a survival mechanism. The brain evolved to detect social threats quickly because, in ancestral environments, social exclusion could mean physical danger. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA has shown through brain imaging studies that social rejection activates some of the same neural pathways as physical pain. That is why being left out of a meeting can feel like a punch in the stomach. You are not weak. Your nervous system is doing its job. But here is the problem. If you react impulsively to protect your ego, you may confirm the narrative being built about you. You may send an angry email. You may confront someone in the hallway. You may withdraw and stop contributing. Sabotage often succeeds not because it is powerful, but because it triggers you into self-sabotage. This is where groundedness becomes strategic. Groundedness is not passivity. It is emotional regulation under pressure. Psychologist James Gross from Stanford University, known for his work on emotion regulation, explains that how we interpret a situation strongly shapes our emotional response. One method he studied is cognitive reappraisal. Instead of asking, "Why are they attacking me?" you ask, "What else could this mean?" Maybe they are anxious about their own performance. Maybe they are competing for the same promotion. Maybe they are insecure. This does not excuse unethical behavior, but it prevents you from spiraling. In Buddhist psychology, there is a concept called upekkha, often translated as equanimity. It refers to a balanced state of mind that remains steady amid praise and blame. In the Pali Canon, which preserves early teachings attributed to the Buddha, equanimity is described as a quality of mind that observes experience without clinging or aversion. The point is not to feel nothing. The point is not to be controlled. When you see people whispering and your body reacts, pause. Feel the heat in your chest. Notice the tightening jaw. Breathe. That pause is power. Now imagine a different scenario. You are in an open office. People are talking loudly. Deadlines are tight. There is tension in the air. Someone points out your mistake in front of others. You feel exposed. Your heart rate increases. Your focus narrows. You want to defend yourself immediately. This is the stress response. When the brain perceives a threat, the amygdala activates. Cortisol and adrenaline increase. Blood flow shifts toward muscles. It is designed for fight or flight. But in a boardroom, fight or flight rarely helps. If you fight, you may escalate the conflict. If you flee, you may appear guilty or weak. Groundedness means engaging the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning and reasoning. One practical method supported by research in stress psychology is controlled breathing. Slow breathing can reduce physiological arousal. Studies have shown that paced breathing can lower heart rate and improve emotional control. In Taoist philosophy, there is an emphasis on natural balance. Laozi, the ancient Chinese sage traditionally associated with the Tao Te Ching, wrote, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." This line appears in chapter 33 of the Tao Te Ching. The strength praised here is not dominance over others. It is mastery over one's internal reactions. When someone attempts to undermine you publicly, the easy move is counterattack. The powerful move is clarity. You can respond calmly. "I appreciate the feedback. Let's look at the data." No raised voice. No sarcasm. No visible panic. You signal stability. And stability under pressure changes how the room sees you. Research in organizational behavior consistently shows that leaders who display calm during crisis are perceived as more competent and trustworthy. Even if you are not in a leadership role, composure increases influence. You cannot control whether someone tries to sabotage you. You can control whether you become chaotic. Sometimes sabotage is not dramatic. It is subtle. A colleague stops sharing information. Your name is omitted from a project summary. Credit shifts slowly away from you. You start doubting yourself. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I am not that good. Maybe I deserve this. This is where internal sabotage begins. Psychologist Albert Bandura, known for his work on self-efficacy, demonstrated that belief in one's capability strongly influences performance. When self-efficacy drops, performance often drops with it. Sabotage aims at this exact target. Not your job, your confidence. Once doubt sets in, you may hesitate to speak up. You may shrink your contributions. You may stop applying for opportunities. This is how quiet defeat happens. Eastern philosophy offers a perspective here that is surprisingly practical. In the Bhagavad Gita, a foundational text of Indian philosophy, Krishna advises Arjuna to focus on action without attachment to the fruits of action. The verse in chapter 2, verse 47, states that one has a right to action, but not to the fruits of action. This teaching does not suggest indifference to results. It encourages detachment from anxiety about outcomes. In a modern office context, this means you control your effort. You control your preparation. You control your integrity. You do not control other people's agendas. When your self-worth is tied only to outcomes like promotion or recognition, sabotage hits harder. When your self-worth is tied to disciplined effort and values, sabotage loses some of its power. Pause for a moment. What if the real danger is not that they want you to fail? What if the real danger is that you start believing them? Because once you internalize their narrative, you sabotage yourself more effectively than they ever could. And this is where the battle shifts. Not in the hallway, not in the meeting, but in your mind. Stay with me, because the next shift changes how you play the game entirely. Groundedness does not mean tolerating abuse. It means responding from strength rather than fear. Here is a practical framework. First, Document facts, not emotions. Facts, dates, emails, decisions. This is not paranoia, it is professionalism. Second, build alliances. Research in workplace psychology shows that strong networks reduce vulnerability. When multiple people recognize your contribution, it becomes harder for one person to erase it. Third, communicate clearly and calmly. Avoid accusations. Use specific examples. I noticed I was not included in the client update. Is there a reason? This invites dialogue rather than war. Fourth, invest in your skill set. Competence creates leverage. The more valuable you are, the harder it is to sideline you. None of these steps require aggression. They require steadiness. In Zen practice, attention to the present moment is central. Modern mindfulness research, including work by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who developed mindfulness-based stress reduction at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, has shown that mindfulness can reduce stress and improve emotional resilience. Mindfulness in the workplace is not about incense and silence. It is about noticing when your thoughts are spiraling and choosing not to follow every story your mind creates. They hate me. This is the end of my career. I will never recover. Thoughts are not facts. When you observe them without automatically believing them, you regain control. People watch how you behave under stress. When you remain composed, others feel safer aligning with you. Calm is contagious. Neuroscience research on emotional contagion suggests that people unconsciously mirror the emotional states of those around them. If you panic, panic spreads. If you remain steady, tension decreases. Over time, this builds a reputation. Not as someone who fights back loudly, but as someone who cannot be destabilized easily. And in high-performance environments, that reputation is currency. Let us be honest. Sometimes sabotage does not stop. Sometimes the environment is toxic. In those cases, groundedness includes strategic exit. Staying grounded does not mean staying stuck. It means making decisions from clarity, not desperation. If you choose to leave, you do so on your terms, not because someone emotionally pushed you out. That difference matters. When others want you to fail, they are often driven by fear. Fear of being replaced. Fear of being outperformed. Fear of losing status. Fear makes people small. Groundedness makes you expansive. You do not shrink to match their insecurity. You grow beyond it. The ancient Stoics in the West and sages in the East converged on a similar insight. You control your response, not the world. When sabotage appears, see it clearly. Do not romanticize it. Do not deny it. Do not let it define you. Stay grounded. Act strategically. Protect your integrity. And remember this: the person who cannot be emotionally manipulated is difficult to defeat. If this message resonated with you, take a moment right now. Think of one situation at work where you feel undermined. Instead of replaying the anger, ask yourself, what is within my control? What is outside my control? What action reflects my values? Write it down. Then act from that place. If you found value here, subscribe to Effortless Focus, where Eastern wisdom meets modern productivity. Share this video with someone navigating workplace politics quietly. You might help them more than you realize. Because staying grounded is not weakness. It is leverage. And in a world of noise, leverage wins.